These right here, hardly any bug damage at all. Like I said, just a quick rinse. We'll be able to throw these in there. What's up, Lazy Dog fam? Hope all y'all are having a fantastic day. It is Monday, January 1st here in South Georgia. And on today's video, we're going to take a look at our cabbage back here. I think we have one variety that is ready to harvest. So we're going to see just how big a head we were able to grow. Then we're also going to start a little experiment on some of these Brussels sprouts. See if we can grow some Brussels sprouts like old Charles Dowding across the pond. And then later in the video, I'm going to tell you about something that I'm going to try to do to add to our videos this year. So over here in our little cool season brassica plot, we've already been harvesting some of this stuff, enjoying some delicious veggies out of here. And today, I think we're gonna be able to get a little more. So we've been eating a lot of this delicious broccoli out of here. Probably time to harvest some more of that. This head right here looks about ready. And last night we enjoyed some more of this delicious purple cauliflower. About time to harvest some more of that before the sun works on these heads too much. And it won't be long before we'll have some white cauliflower to harvest. This is a little bit behind the purple cauliflower. Looks like we're well on our way to some nice heads there too. And then in this row, we've got some really nice looking cabbage plants. And I think there's a couple heads here that we need to harvest today. Well, let me start out here by showing you some of these megaton cabbage heads that could be harvested today, but I think these are gonna get even bigger. I want y'all to just look at the size of the leaves on this cabbage. The camera can't get it all in the frame there. There's my hand. These leaves are huge. This head right here is getting pretty big. It's not far from being as big as a basketball, and I think it can get even more tightly wound than it is, so we're gonna see just how big it'll get. Now, not all of these megaton plants look like they're gonna make a massive head of cabbage. Some of them look like they're gonna make just kind of an average size head, but I think with a few of these, we've got a shot at getting close to a 15-pound cabbage. Now, I don't really have a clue as to what's going on with this purple or red cabbage. These plants are massive, but they're not really heading up yet. All the other cabbage varieties we have planted have started forming heads, but this still is kind of wide open. So if it eventually does form a head, it's going to make a big head of red cabbage whenever that happens. And then over here we've got our Bravo cabbage, which seems to be a little bit earlier than the other varieties we planted. We've got some pretty nice tightly wound heads there. This variety also seems to be a little bit more consistent. Almost all the heads we have here are about the same size. We've got one runt right there, but all the rest of these look pretty much the same. And heads like this one right here might get a little bit bigger, but I'm craving some cabbage tonight, so we're gonna go ahead and snag one. So there's kind of two ways you can cut cabbage. There's the commercial way where you just slide your knife in behind this main head here, cut this off and leave the rest of this. Then there's kind of the show off way, which is where you cut it way down here at the base of the plant and take a picture with this big old cabbage plant. So I think we'll start off doing it here the show off way this time. See if I can cut that down there. Goodness gracious. There we go. Pull up the whole plant there. Boy, that's a beauty. So when you buy cabbage in the grocery store, obviously you're just getting the head right here. They leave all these other leaves out in the field. But when you grow your own cabbage, you can take advantage of all these nice big leaves on the outside. And assuming they're relatively clean, you can eat these too. Now, the way I do it depends on whether I'm going to eat the cabbage right now, tonight, or whether I'm just cutting a few heads to keep in the fridge for the week. So I'm taking this inside to eat it tonight. Yeah, I'm gonna cook up every single leaf you see here. But if I'm getting a few heads for later in the week or getting a few heads to take to a friend, I usually just cut off the head itself and give these to the chickens. Now, one thing I want to do with this one right here is weigh it, just kind of see where I'm at with my cabbage growing skills. I used to be able to grow 10-pound cabbage pretty regularly, but I haven't in a few years. So I'm going to cut this one out because it would be cheating to weigh this whole thing. We'll cut out this head and see what we've got. So we've got our little kitchen scale zeroed out here. We've got our cabbage cut down to a nice weighable size. Let's see what we've got. Ooh, definitely not 10 pounds, not even halfway there. Now, weighing cabbage is a lot like weighing fish. If I wouldn't have weighed this on camera, I probably could have convinced a good many of y'all that this was close to a 10-pound cabbage. But Can't tell a fishtail about my cabbage now because we got the proof on camera. Not close to 10 pounds, but it's going to be some good groceries anyways. So I think we have officially determined that my ability to guess cabbage weight is pretty terrible. Based on the size of the one we just picked, I would say all those right there are under 5 pounds. And I don't even know if we've got a 10-pounder with this megaton variety. Time will tell. We'll let these get a little bit bigger, and when we do harvest one, we'll be sure to show y'all and weigh it, see what we've got. Now let's do a fun little experiment with some of these Brussels sprouts. So with the exception of 1 or 2 runts along the row there, our Dagon Brussels sprouts are looking absolutely beautiful. Plants are just as green as they can be. And we've got some sprouts down there towards the bottom that are what I would like to call good eating size. Now over the years we've done quite a few different Brussels sprout experiments trying to improve sprout production and sprout uniformity. One year we cut the top side of them. Last year we cropped a lot of these side leaves here, and I couldn't tell that doing either of those things really made a significant difference in production. Now you will see other people out there on YouTube that tell you that's what you got to do, and I'm not saying it won't make a little bit of a difference, but it wasn't a significant difference to where I thought it was something worth doing. Now a few weeks ago when we were looking at these Brussels sprout plants, I told you about a reel I saw from Charles Dowding where he had this 3 or 4 foot tall Brussels sprout plant that was just loaded with sprouts, and he'd just pluck a few off the bottom as they got large, and the plant would just keep making more and more at the top. Now his ability to do that has a lot to do with where he lives and his climate. I've never visited that part of the world, but it is my understanding that they have a pretty mild climate over there. They don't get real hot. They also don't get a lot of snow. Just kind of stays cool most of the time. If you've seen a lot of Charles videos, he's out there in a sweater most of the time working in the garden, and there ain't many times where I can wear a sweater out here without sweating my butt off. So the fact that he has that nice mild climate allows him to have a much longer Brussels sprout growing season than what we have down here in South Georgia. I think that one reel I saw, he mentioned that he planted his in June or July, and we couldn't even think about planting Brussels sprouts in June or July down here. We have to wait all the way until October to put our transplants in the ground. But even though our climates are much different, the whole idea of plucking those bigger sprouts off the bottom got me a little bit curious. Since we've got some nice sprouts on the bottom of our plants and we've got plenty of plants to experiment with, I figured it was worth a shot. So I think what we'll do here is just use that one runt plant there as a nice little dividing line, and we'll pluck some sprouts off these right here, and those on the other side of the runt plant, we'll just let them go. So I got me a little bowl here. We're gonna dig in and see what we can find. I'm guessing we need to just pull off these bottom branches in here as we get some of these Brussels sprouts. Oh yeah, those are nice. Nice size on those. Those look absolutely beautiful and tasty. Let's see what else we can get in here. Those don't even look that dirty. We won't even have to do much prep on those. Pretty much just put some oil on those, put a little salt on them, put them in the air fryer, and be ready to go. Now there are still a few little ones down here around the base. I don't know if we should leave those or if we should just clean off the base, kind of like we would do when we were harvesting kale. Might just leave them, see what happens. I'm gonna work my way up each plant here until I get all the big ones, and then we'll stop. Now I can see why the commercial guys don't do it this way, because that's some meticulous work getting down there and plucking off those sprouts at the base of the plant. But we slipped around and got us a little mess here. We also got a couple nice piles of greens. We could eat these. I hear Brussels sprout greens are absolutely delicious. I got plenty of other greens out here that we've been eating, so I think my girls are gonna get these. But I'm tickled at how good these right here look. One thing I have noticed in the past, when we just do a one-time harvest on our Brussels sprouts, some of those at the very bottom of the stalk end up looking a little scraggly, probably because they've just been there so long and sometimes the bugs eventually get to them. These right here, hardly any bug damage at all. Like I said, just a quick rinse. We'll be able to throw these in the air fryer and enjoy them. So maybe we're on to something here. We've still got half our plants, which we're just going to let ride and see how they do over the long term. We've got a good idea of how much we got off those plants we plucked, and we'll just see if those plants do end up getting taller and producing more and more sprouts. Now I know as soon as it gets hot around here in early to mid spring, just depending on the year, these Brussels sprout plants aren't going to like it that much, and so we're probably never going to be able to grow a Brussels sprout plant that's, say, 3.5 to 4 foot tall. But this may be a way to enjoy more high quality sprouts from each plant. Now I mentioned earlier in the video I was going to try to do something a little different this year with some of our videos. Over the last couple of years we've had several people asking for kind of a start to finish from planting to harvest video on certain vegetables, say sweet potatoes, sweet corn, things like that. And while that's a great idea, it's kind of hard to do with the vlog style of videos that we put out. As I'm sure you're aware, on any given video, we might be doing 2 or 3 different things out here in the garden that day. But I'm going to try. So here's what I'm going to do. As I'm editing footage for a particular vlog video, if I've got footage in there for a particular veggie, say potatoes, I'm going to throw all my potato footage into a folder, and over time, over the growth cycle of those potatoes, we'll accrue any update or anything we did on those potatoes. And then after we harvest the potatoes, for example, I'll be able to piece all that footage together and we'll have a nice little start to finish compilation. Now it won't all be flowing really nicely as if we were out here doing it all in one day, but it will still kind of give you an idea of all the steps that went into getting that harvest. So let me know in the comments below if that's something you'd like to see. Now we're not going to be able to do it with any of the stuff we have growing out here now because I separate my footage by the year, but for anything we plant going forward in 2024, I'll try to start piecing together that start to finish video. I don't know that we can do it with every single thing we grow, but some of the bigger stuff like potatoes, sweet corn, tomatoes, peppers, things like that, hopefully we can generate a nice start to finish compilation for those vegetables. That way you can see the entire progress of the grow out. But anyways, hope you enjoyed the video today. As always, you can find a lot of the fertilizers and other products we use around here on our website at lazydogfarm.com. And if you want to learn more about how we got to this point in this brassica plot, learn more about our fertilization plan, you can see that on this video right here. So check that out, and we'll see you next time right here at Lazy Dog Farm.